Karibu sana Babu Owino, MP Mbakasi East.
Thank you, bro.
This is where we fix the nation, one conversation at a time, and today we are fixing from all angles, from a Mwananchi perspective, right? But to welcome you to the conversation, Felaris will give you the day's quote. Let's hear your thoughts and views on that quote.
Today's quote is courtesy of Chinua Achebe from his book Things Fall Apart. Now the quote is, "A man who calls his kinsmen to a feast does not do so to save them from starving." A man that calls his kinsmen to a feast does not do so to save them from starving. How does that quote speak to you?
The quote can be interpreted in so many ways, but the ordinary meaning, before going to the literal meaning, rule of interpretation, I can say that if people are called together, you can be called to have a word, to converse about something, generally as the literal meaning. Then the golden meaning can also, we can go deeper and talk about people coming together and talking about serious issues, serious challenges that are facing our community.
The serious issues.
Yeah.
You are in the movement called Linda Mwananchi, right? We've talked to Sifuna, we've talked to a few others in the Linda Mwananchi group, but not you. What is the Mwananchi issue in your mind?
Latif, the common Mwananchi who lined up in the sun, in the rain, to vote for a leader, lined up with a purpose, went there knowing very well that the leaders they were electing were going to transform their lives. We have the common challenges, issues of concern that are facing Kenyans. The first issue of concern is high cost of living. That a common Mwananchi is experiencing high cost of living. The value of goods and services are so high that they can't afford. A common Mwananchi who wakes up very early in the morning, a woman who prepares her baby, wakes up at 5 a.m., prepares the baby to go to school without even breakfast, because a common Mwananchi, nowadays an average Mwananchi can only afford 1 meal in a day. Then this lady goes to the market, comes back in the evening, having sold nothing, there is no money. Then the child asks the lady, after coming from school, that, "Mom, when will we eat nyama?" Then the woman, with agony, with pain, so emotional, does not know an answer, because there is no solution. There is no money. No money to pay rent, no money to pay fees, no money to buy food. Same to a boda rider. Goes out in the morning with an intention to change the lives of the family members, but comes back home with nothing. That common Mwananchi is experiencing high cost of living. That comrade who's just finished a university promised the parents that the day I graduate, I will change all your lives. Then that comrade goes back to the village where he started, where she started, goes back to the slum. It tells you very well that the government is letting them down, because there was hope that they would tie the loose ends. But eventually they go back home, nothing to show. There's that boy in Nyalenda slums, that lady in Nyalenda slums where we were the other day. That person wakes up very early in the morning with a hope to get something, but there are no jobs. So unemployment, high cost of living, overtaxation. These are some high cost of education, high cost of medication. These are some of the serious issues that are affecting common Mwananchi. Yes.
The next question would be, how is Linda Mwananchi the solution to all of those issues that you've given?
Thank you. First of all, under the doctrine of separation of powers, checks and balances, which came way before in 1948, came through a gentleman in France called Charles Louis de Montesquieu, Baron de Montet. This gentleman talked about separation of powers, checks and balances. That it is our role to put the government of the day under check. If we don't do so, then the government of the day will run amok. There will be excesses committed, the atrocities committed by the government of the day. Number two, Linda Mwananchi's role is to ensure that they occupy State House. Through occupation of State House, there are so many things that will come in handy. Number one, we promised Gen Zs that they will have decent lunch in State House using the VVIP gate, not any other means. Then this time round, they will get food. Latif, Mariam, kutakuwa na chumvi. Wachana na ile ya bungi yenye alikuwa na chumvi. So Linda Mwananchi's agenda is very clear that we need jobs for young men and women. We need these young men and women in positions of leadership in 2027. A time that we've been told severally that young people cannot lead. Young people can lead. People have been presidents at younger age. We had Fidel Castro at 32 years old in Cuba, president. We had Gaddafi at 28 years old, president. We had Rajolina in Madagascar at 35 years old, president. We've had presidents at young age. Therefore, those who are not working to be prepared should go home. Young people should occupy these seats. Linda Mwananchi's another agenda is provision of jobs to our people in Kenya. How do we plan to provide jobs to young men and women in Kenya? Number one, Mariam, if we get it right, if we just give people jobs, then almost 70% of our challenges will be solved. If we focus on the Vision 2030, because we've had hope that the government shall provide jobs, promising 1 million jobs every year, but delivering nothing. But we have an economic blueprint called the Vision 2030 that should just be followed. Imagine in 2002, when Kibaki was coming in, our growth rate, economic growth rate, was at around 1-2%. Kibaki pulled it to around 7%. Then we had hope. We came up with the blueprint around 2008, and we said that by 2012, we would have a double-digit number, which is 10%. Then that double digit could move us up to 2030. That means that jobs would be provided, okay? But before that, right now, Latif, we are celebrating a 5% growth rate, something that we achieved in 2007 during Kibaki's era, and now we are saying the way the economy is growing. When we talk about this growth, we have to lay the foundations. The foundations are also in the blueprint. We don't need to do anything unique. We just need to follow that blueprint that we were given. Then the foundations were, we work on the macroeconomic stability, where we would work on the prices of goods and services. We would work on the inflation, which is the average rate of the prices of goods and services. We would work on the exchange rate. Then we would work also on the central bank rates that will help us get affordable loans to do businesses and promote our industries. After that, we'd work on our security. Once we lay the foundation, then we come to the pillars, which let me just explain. We'd work on our security. That an insecure nation, there is no any investor who can come to an insecure nation. There is no mama mboga who will leave her house to go and sell mboga if a nation is infested with goons. And one of the things that the government has successfully done is to provide jobs for goons, creating goons, goonism. Instead of giving them serious jobs, sons and daughters of serious politicians or politicians in this country are given decent jobs in governments. But what do the son, the daughter of a common Mwananchi get? Being employed to get 1,000 shillings to attack a fellow citizen. Goonism. We work on security. We work on the land reforms. And then we work on also the infrastructure. Very important. These are ways that we can use to create jobs. Infrastructure means that we work on our roads, can work on our ports, we work on our energy. Look at what supports industrialization. We go to Ethiopia. We borrow from Ethiopia. Ethiopia, the other day, launched, there's a dam that was constructed, the Great Renaissance Dam. The production of electricity only from one dam is 5,150 megawatts. Only one dam. Kenya, we have a capacity of producing 3,800, the installed capacity. But the highest we've ever produced is 2,500 megawatts. And we import 400 megawatts from Ethiopia. Meanwhile, Ethiopia exports to Kenya, South Sudan, and even partly Uganda. Now, what we produce is not sufficient for industrialization. We need industrialization to provide jobs, to grow an economy. Now, once you lay down the foundations, then you come to the pillars, the Vision 2030 pillars, where we have the economic pillar. We ought to have achieved the 10% between 2012 and 2030 to create jobs. Then we go to the political pillar. In the political pillar, we were to talk about the rule of law. A nation cannot be run without a rule of law. Constitutionalism. Okay, not just having a constitution without a constitutionalism. The rule of law. Then we talk about the electoral reforms, where people can go vote, then they can just go and sleep without even having agents, because IBC should take care of people's votes.
Yeah.
But what happens? Something else. Then we talk about the social pillar. Social pillar, we have education that was supposed to be worked on. Right now, education should be free, from high school all the way to university. Health, look at what is happening to our health sector. We use over 100 billion to work on an infrastructure that is not working, that is SHA. But we do away with NHIF, which was initially working. Then, once we talk about those pillars, then we talk about industrialization. We come to agriculture. These are ways of creating jobs. In agriculture, 15% of our land in Kenya, only 15% is arable. It means that 85% is arid and semi-arid. We only need moisture content. So how do we do this? We need serious dams for irrigation. We have Lake Turkana. Turkana is dry. We can't have something there. People are dying out of hunger. But we have a lake there that can create jobs. We can do fish processing from that lake. We can do irrigation from that lake. We can do serious agriculture from that lake. Agriculture contributes approximately 19% to our economy. Only 19%. Then 16% is produced by manufacturing and construction, and 65% from the service industry. So if only 19%, if we could push it to around 40%, what could we have through proper methods of farming, where we have proper irrigation, fertilizer? It is a shame that a government can give people stones to use as a fertilizer. That's not a serious nation. Talk about manufacturing. The capacity that we have cannot support industrialization in terms of electricity. But we need to promote manufacturing, because we consume close to around 80% of the goods that we consume are imports. How do we want to grow a nation if 80% of everything that we consume is an import? You want to tell me, my sister, that we don't have jogo that can produce, can work on our hands to produce eggs, that we can only import eggs from Uganda. We import chicken. We import everything. That means that we lose so much to the foreign countries, what we call foreign absorption in economics. We need to promote domestic absorption, where we produce locally, we manufacture locally. Through manufacturing, we can create so many jobs. That is an agenda.
That's the agenda.
For Linda Mwananchi.
You know, Babu, very well articulated, but nothing new.
It is.
The Kenya Kwanza manifesto has all these things in the way you've said them. Agriculture, let's do mega dams. Manufacturing, let's increase our power production. Education, let's fix our education. These guys have come up with their thing. It's not working. Healthcare, we need to go into universal health coverage. The Azimio manifesto, and you are part of it, had the same issues. Now you're telling us the same thing.
Same thing.
What's different, Babu?
You know, Latif, the Bible says that in the beginning there was the Word. The Word was with God, and the Word was God. This is a new crop of leadership. Babu Owino has been ranked for the second consecutive time as the best member of parliament in Kenya. Based on Infotrack. Based on development track record and the work that I do in parliament. That alone tells you that this is a new brand of leaders. Why am I saying so? Because Babu Owino has gone without food. Latif, today if you tell me that you're sleeping hungry, Mariam, I know what it is to sleep without food, because I've been there. So I will understand you. If you tell me that your child has no fees, I've lacked fee at some point in my life, and therefore I will understand you. And that is why, as Babu Owino, you see me hands-on with my constituents, working for them. Hope is not lost. We cannot say that these are the things that people say in every electoral cycle. They say that, but they have a different intention. These are people on a mission, not with a vision.
But what
on a mission to destroy the lives of Kenyans, but not with a vision to change lives.
I mean, the vision has always been there, and just Kenyans hearing this is maneno haya si mageni jijini. Kenyans are used to hearing this, and the public trust has been so eroded over the years that people are looking for something different. Whether the difference is Sifuna, whether the difference is Babu, we will wait to see. But we want to see something that does not parade itself as a citizen-led movement, but it only serves self-interest. And that is where we are here looking at. We could say all of these beautiful things on paper, but does it translate to anything for the common Mwananchi? So the way everybody would be looking at it right now is Linda Mwananchi is just but an outfit that is trying to settle political score within the bigger outfit of ODM. And we need to look at that, because we can't talk about Linda Mwananchi without looking at ODM. Correct. And also looking at, is Linda Mwananchi actually angling for the late Raila's political capital? Is this it? Because, fine, present it as a Mwananchi case, but Babu and Sifuna also want to settle a political score.
My sister, in politics... Venaris. Thank you. Venaris. In politics, there's nothing personal. We can't be personal with our brothers and sisters. We are just yearning to deliver Kenyans from the bondage of poverty, from the shackles of oppression. That is what we are yearning as Linda Mwananchi. We as Linda Mwananchi, we say that the only way to deliver Kenyans where they ought to be is by occupying positions of leadership. In ODM, that is our mother party. We respect ODM so much. And ODM is not what it was when Baba was there. You remember that even Baba, before Baba was buried, Baba's position was already taken. Before he was even brought to Kenya, his position was already taken. That type of greed is what we are saying we cannot. As the Linda ground within ODM is looking for power, Linda Mwananchi wants Kenyans to get affordable, accessible, and quality education. As Linda ground is advocating or looking for a deputy president, Linda Mwananchi is not fighting for positions, because leadership is not about position. Leadership is not about titles. Leadership is not about the names. Leadership is about service delivery. And that is why when the Bible says that he who wants to serve among you, he who wants to be the greatest among you, must first of all agree to be the least, must agree to serve you. And I want to tell you that the only challenge we have in Linda ground is that it is engulfed with greed. It has greedy leadership. They say it is about me. Linda Mwananchi says it is about us. That is what we are trying to say. We are not trying to outshine them, but we are trying to provide the services which they are not providing. The leadership vacuum that is there. That is what we are trying to do.
From an outsider's perspective, ODM was one big ODM, and conversations with government start happening, and a few experts are donated to government, and they go and do their work. And then other people also see that I could also possibly be an expert that is donated to government, or in the future, there could be something in it for me. So the first wave, your Mbadis and Oparanyas and Johos, they all go, and it kind of infects, ODM, the possibility of hope for those who want to be a part of government, right? And then the second cohort now realizes, even especially after, towards maybe before Baba had passed on, and even after his passing, that there's opportunity here. And if I align myself, I can find myself in a wonderful position come 2027 if there are 2 terms of President Ruto's presidency. So they align themselves. And their constituents are perhaps more, I would say, welcoming to the idea of a President Ruto's 2 terms. So they align themselves and their people, or they're more malleable, it's easier to convince. Then we have people like yourself, like Senator Sifuna, who come from places that are very much anti-government or anti-Ruto, anti-everything. And it would not be in your best interest to align yourself with the government of the day. So you make your decision, but it's not a matter of, I feel so strongly about matters governance. Is it politically clever and expedient for me to say 2-term? It is not right now. But should it become, you know what, I'll do what needs to be done. If the tide changes,
moves.
I am right there with you. That's honest. That's what it looks like from the outside.
Yeah.
It's a matter of political expediency, and also there's only so many goodies that the president can give to ODM, right?
Yeah.
And now that Governor Wanga and Junet they've already crowded the good stuff. What possibly could there be left? Could there be? Yeah. That's thinking out loud.
I don't think so. You are being too clever, Maria.
Suddenly, I'm not very clever.
No, you are always clever, that I know. But for now, what I want to tell you is that, these positions of leadership, these are temporary positions. At one point you leave them, you are called a former. Okay? And therefore, the position that you have as a leader, as at now, you need to utilize it to serve Kenyans. We don't need to take advantage of Kenyans. Kenyans will elect you whether there's a 2-term or a no-term. Kenyans elected independent candidates in Nairobi, outside Nairobi, even governors as independent candidates, correct? So it means that it is not just about 2-term or 1-term. What we stand for the idea that the president, having been entrusted with the position of leadership, must deliver. If you said that education will be free, where is that free education? If you said that health will be very affordable, where is that affordable and of quality health? Today you go to Mama Lucy Hospital, you will lose a mother there, you will lose a child there, just because they lack 500 shillings for x-ray. If you go there, I've been there, I saw personally somebody losing life. By the time we were coming in, it was too late because of negligence that had been left there, because of lack of 500 Kenya shillings. People lack even money to buy Piriton and Panadol. Okay? If you go to the village, up to now, our mothers, our fathers are going to dig for people for them to get 100, 200 shillings. You go to Mjengos, you get our women carrying shovel, carrying stones, carrying bags of cement. But you see, we have a government that should create an opportunity for these people. This is where Babu is coming in. This is where Sifuna is coming in and saying that, you know what, it doesn't matter. We will be the Shadrach, Meshach, and Abednego. We will not worship the God of the Baals, but we will worship the Almighty God.
I love that, Babu. Just stick around. We're about to take a break. We'll be right back. Fixing the Nation with myself, Larry Somboy, Eric Latif, Mariam Bishar, and Babu Owino in the house. We are talking all things Linda Mwananchi. Seeing so much of your feedback, we'll keep it coming. We'll be right back.
Fixers are online, and many of them are coming in with comments and questions. Joe Mungai says, Kenya's greatest enemy is corruption. Going forward, let every leader that you host tell us how they intend to deal with past and current cases of corruption, and of course, how to stop future corruption. Then there's Meruman on the Moon. Tell Babu that his side had the right political messaging, but they are short on clear policy and solution. Some of us voters are wary of them. We need them to give us practical solutions. I think he then went ahead to answer some of those questions. Abizuena has a couple of messages here. She says, Babu's understanding of what we need to do economically to ensure and support job creation is remarkable. We must lay the foundation of the already existing blueprint that this country already has. Then she comes back later to say, rule of law and constitutionalism are so key in Linda Mwananchi. A government that follows on rule of law must be achieved. Our constitution already guides us on how to rule and govern. We must say, we have hosted Abizuena, and she's one of those very, very active youth in the Linda Mwananchi Vuguvugu.
Yeah.
She's an amazing lady.
Jenga Njogu says, Linda Mwananchi, focus on debt, make it a main objective on paying odious debt. Cooperate with like-minded like Omtata, Maraga, and Wanjigi. Avoid united opposition like the plague. Umesikia hiyo, Babu? Your position with the united opposition, right? Sophie Mogore, what's different is that those at the forefront have a track record of performance. Kulinda Mwananchi ni kulinda Kenya. Moses says, Linda Mwananchi has not crafted a solid message for Kenyans. Too much hyperbole. Good start, but the euphoria will not help Kenya. We need solid and ground solutions. Christine from Embakasi East says, Babu is my MP and my incoming governor for Nairobi County. You'll tell us whether you still want to be governor or now that you're looking at national leadership, right? Okay. And then there's the Kikombe who says, how can such an eloquent, sober-minded MP fail? How? Is it because Parliament is elected to oversee policy, but instead it's louder on politics? Democracy fails because MPs overlook the Constitution. Donge. Then it comes in chapter 6, accountability, objectivity, integrity, and selflessness. Kenyans, we ought to rank MPs based on performance for what they were elected to do. Sio mashule, sio barabara, sio bursary na vibes. Please. Yeah.
Well, is there David Muimi?
Yeah.
How is DJ Evolve doing? That's the last one. Debt is the main issue. Have you seen Malawi? Yeah. We'll talk about debt.
The issue of debt.
Yeah.
Okay. So, to start with corruption, the past, the present, and the future. I believe that one of the ways that we are losing money is through corruption, and corruption has paralyzed development in this nation. Any strong leader who wants to deliver must first of all deal with corruption. Why? Because money meant for development goes to corruption. And so many children are dying today because of corruption in hospitals. So many people lack jobs today, youth, men and women, because of corruption. As a leader, come up with their laws to deal with corruption. But we need to shorten the duration that the cases are taking in court. Okay. A presidential petition takes 14 days to be dealt with. A corruption case should take approximately 2 to 3 months to be dealt with. Within 6 months, the appeal process ought to have been expedited. So therefore, any corruption case must finish 6 months. That is our agenda. So that people who are corrupt should be dealt with. These are people who are denying our young men and women a future. So corruption should not be anything to be tolerated. Should be dealt with hands-on. When we talk about the debt, this is another...
Sorry, before we move on to the debt, the corruption one, there's even, who is this, Kelvin Mwema asking, would you truly fight corruption to the end, or would the system fight back harder? In Kenya, it's not just about who leads. I think we've had, again, a lot of flowery things up. Everyone wants to fight corruption. The how, especially when it is systemic, it is in our DNA.
Let me tell you something, Mariam. You're a leader. You've been elected as a president or as a governor. Okay? You have, the state has monopoly of violence. It has all the equipment and the tools and the machinery for violence. Okay? You have the power. You have the people who have elected you. Then you are told that the system will fight back 2 or 3 people. Crush those people. Deal with them decisively. You deal with one person to the benefit of a whole society, of a whole nation, there is no problem. I'm always straightforward. Such people, you can't tell me not unless the president, the governor, the MP is part of the cartels. That is when you cannot deal with those corrupt cases. But the moment you have all this,
that's the thing.
Yes, they are part of it. That is when they cannot deal with it. But if you decisively choose to deal with corruption, that one person is corrupt, Magufuli did it. Correct?
Did he?
He did it. He worked on corruption seriously. Okay?
The thing is, like you said, not unless the president, the governors, the MPs are part of the cartels.
Yes.
We live in a place where that's the case. So now...
So that is why we need new brand of leaders like Babu Owino, who will not tolerate these cartels. I will want you to observe, and I'm saying it in public today. Observe how I will lead Nairobians. The first people I'm going for are the cartels. I'm going to deal with these cartels decisively. Because these are the people whom, if given a job, they don't want to work. A cartel, if you are given a job, do it. Take your profit. Let the services be delivered to Nairobians or Kenyans. But if you don't do it, I will come for you. I have the people. If I bring 5 million Nairobians to your house, utahama uende uishi village. That is how these things should be done, Latif. You know, leadership, you must take certain decisions whether people will be happy with it or not. And in dealing with cartels, it will be to the best interest of common Mwananchi. And that is how it should be.
I'm actually very curious that, cartels are faceless, and we tend to use either cartels or goons because, we really cannot point a finger and say, this is the cartel, this is the person. I want to look at the institutions that you will work with to actually address matters corruption. You have EACC, you have the DCI, you have the police units, you have the courts that have been infiltrated by the so-called cartels, that the execution of justice is not happening. So yes, you might have the best of intentions in terms of addressing all matters corruption, but you need these institutions to work.
You're right. But first of all, you need to work on the time that these cases will take. Because if you want to be patient with a cartel for 5-8 years that a case will take in court, then another regime will come in and free that cartel. But if you work with a duration of around 6 months, then we tell the DCI to do their job, the EACC to do their job, Office of the DPP, or DPP, to do their job, the judiciary to do its job. Then I don't think if there'll be any problem to deal with these corruption cases. But again, give an example. Deal with 2 or 3. Then the rest will follow the line.
Lead from the front.
When we talk about lead from the front, when we talk about debt, I want to tell you that debt, taking a loan has never been a problem.
Yeah.
First of all, we have a debt of approximately 12.3 trillion as we speak. Domestic debt, 6.8 trillion. Foreign debt, 5.5 trillion. Every year, we pay 2.3 trillion as debt. Having a loan is not a problem. Today, we enjoy this road along Nation Center because of a loan that was taken. We enjoy KICC, we enjoy Mombasa Road and other roads, other infrastructure because of loans that were taken. But those loans were called productive loans. In economics, there is a gentleman called Franco Modigliani. He came up with an hypothesis called a full life cycle hypothesis. Full life cycle hypothesis. That what you should enjoy in 70 years as you retire, you can bring it and enjoy it now by taking a loan and paying slowly. That's productive debt. The bad debt is the unproductive debt, where you take loans for patrimonialism, favoritism, where you want to give people, your friends. Another second unproductive loan is loan to steal. You are a leader of a nation, you take loans, then you steal your own money that's meant for development. How does it bring value to you? You should not take loans for corruption, you should not take loans for patrimonialism, you should not take loans for recurrent expenditure because it's not bringing any development. So, debt issue. And in the Constitution, Article 229, Sub-Article 4, gives the Auditor General a mandate to audit our public debt because this money belongs to the people. Now, and it should be audited every 6 months after every financial year. Every 6 months. But what happens in Kenya? The Auditor General is not given even the system to audit this debt. So as is, we still don't know because there is no audit about this public debt. So having a debt is not a problem, but how we manage the debt is the problem that we have. Yes. Then when we talk about...
I want to stay on that. Because you are a member of the Budget Committee of the National Assembly, right?
Yes.
The Budget Committee approves the budget, which means the Budget Committee approves debt. You, for example, this time, the government wants to spend how much in the next financial year? 4.8 trillion shillings.
Yeah.
And you know very well, our collections are not going to be 2.5 trillion. Well, they're going to be maybe 2.6, 2.7 trillion. So there's a huge deficit, which basically by approving that, you're approving debt. Thereafter, the Budget Committee it comes in to approve the other supplementary budgets, but also is in charge of overseeing the implementation of the budget. When you're overseeing implementation of the budget, you should be able to flag when that debt is being misused. We don't hear the Budget Committee of the National Assembly flagging this loud enough so that we can even say, stop implementation, go back to what we approved. So you're part of the problem, Babu.
Latif, let me tell you something. First of all, in the parliament, there's a committee that's dealing with public debt. Okay? Not
Yes.
the budget committee.
Yes.
Number two, as things are, the minority will always have its report. Then the majority can also have its, they do have their report. The problem in this nation is that parliament is supposed to make a budget. That budget is not made in parliament. That budget is passed after it has been made from the executive. Okay, so there's the lack of independence. So you may be in a committee, but you're just in a committee because the numbers that are there are in favor of the system. So whatever you raise will just fika hapo kwa wall. But we do talk. We talk about these things. We offer advisory. But number one, parliament is not making budget as it should be its constitutional mandate. It is not making. We are just a conveyor belt. We are just passing the budget. So that is the sad thing. So not all members of parliament, again, can be grouped that they are failing. We do our part. Just like the finance bill that was passed, you saw that is just one instance that gave parliament an opportunity to be seen by the public about what they were doing. That is what happens in parliament. You see, they knew very well that that finance bill in 2024 was not good, but they went ahead and passed it, and some people were really talking bad even about it in public. Okay? So, Latif, not everybody is part of the problem. That is why we as Linda Mwananchi, we've decided to come off it and say that if this is what you're doing in parliament, if we can't be heard in parliament, let Mwananchi hear us.
Let me
the
push
public
back on
hear.
that. You are complicit in this problem. Now, this is it. If indeed principally you stand for Mwananchi, if indeed principally you look at budget and you see this is an exorbitant budget, these are proposals that are not coming from us as parliament, they're being imposed on us by the executive, that this parliament has no power to make a budget, you wouldn't want to sit in a budget committee. The minority members, if they are on principle, they should step out of the budget committee.
You see,
And let us raise that as an
the
issue.
solution is not running away from the problem. The solution is fighting the problem from within.
But you haven't been able
Change.
to fight.
We've been talking, Latif. Maybe you've not been following me on
Talking is not fighting, Babu, and that's my point.
But I don't
you're
need to
saying
go and
that-
grab somebody's neck to say budget inafaa iwe hivi. I need to raise it.
As long as a budget is passed, as long as last year's budget was passed by Parliament, and you know it had problems, as long as this new budget is going to be passed by Parliament, and you know it has a problem, and it is increasing our public debt, it is straining people, the cost of living, and all those things that you said Mwananchi is suffering from, as long as those things are going to pass, then it means that the effort that you're making, valiant as it be, are not successful. Use that as a strategy.
Latif, a story is told of a sparrow bird that a king found a sparrow bird lying on its back with its legs facing upwards. Okay? Then the king asked the sparrow bird, "What are you doing?" Then the sparrow bird told the king that we have been told that our kingdom will be destroyed by a big stone. And that stone, when it comes, it will destroy the whole kingdom and it will destroy you. Then the king laughed. And the king told the sparrow bird that by the time that stone will be coming, it shall have crushed the whole kingdom. Then the sparrow bird said that I am only doing that which I can do with the little that I can. Okay? As a member of parliament, 1 or 2, we've been trying to do that which we can do. We've been trying to communicate. The Constitution, Article 1, is so clear. It says about the sovereignty, power belongs to the people. Okay? That is why when we cannot be heard in parliament, that is captured. Not all members are captured, but a few. But some majority are captured, some are not. We go back to the people. We tell them what has been happening in parliament. That is the march we can do as at now. And when Linda Mwananchi comes to power, now we will deal with these people decisively.
In Parliament, I can go to the Hansard to figure out what happened during any session.
Yes.
For committees, what is the equivalent?
It is the same.
Same Hansard.
It is the same answer. You
Same
can go
Hansard.
and get
Okay.
the views. And we've been talking in committees. We've been talking in committees. They're there. Yes.
All right, Sawa. Just to know who says what
Yes.
in
It's
different
there.
committees.
Different capacities.
Yes.
And to
Records
know,
are there.
Okay.
How many good, let's call them good, how many good members do we have, for example, in the budget committee?
We have a total of 27 members in the budget committee. Approximately 8 to 10 are good. Yes.
That's a sizable.
But as at now, as at tomorrow, I don't know. Because again, those ones, you know what happens, Latif. But they talk. I can assure you these people talk in budget committee. Whatever is not good, they say it. Yes.
I mean, I just wanted to add to Latif's point in terms of not being able to do anything. We've seen Okiya Omtata move to the courts and legally challenging this thing, and we're calling it odious debt, saying that this didn't go through parliamentary approval, or the Public Finance Management Committee had no insight over this debt. So it means in some capacity and in some way, somebody can do something. If you sit in those committees and these budgets are coming from the executive, if members wanted to do something, they would do something about it, because we've seen Senator Omtata move to courts.
There are those good senators, there are those good members of National Assembly, there are those people, there are those good leaders with the interest of common Mwananchi at heart. But again, it can just go that far, you know? Because if you come back to Parliament, the rule of law is not followed. See, the other day, what was happening to Gloria? The court allowed Gloria to go back to Senate. But what happened in return? She was being assaulted. So it's quite unfortunate about what's happening in our institutions. Yeah. That is why I started by saying that we need to give back that credibility to our institutions. And I started by saying that Linda Mwananchi will want to work on the institutions, the institution of the executive, parliament, judiciary, IBC, other institutions, police. The independence should be given back to them. But the executive holds them ransom.
Okay.
There are those who have still on debt.
Yeah.
Odious debt. Do we have odious debt, Babu?
Yeah.
Definitely, Latif. This debt, I've really explained extensively about it. Talking about the 12.3 total debt, domestic versus the foreign debt. I've talked about it.
Is it odious?
But is it odious?
Is it odious?
It is. There are odious debts.
Okay.
Yes.
What should we do about that?
Management of public debts and odious debts. Latif. When it comes to the management of debts, I talked about the first thing that we need to do is audit of these debts, which is enshrined in Article 229, Sub-Article 4 of the Constitution.
Yeah.
The moment debt is audited by the Auditor General, then from there, actions should be taken.
Fair enough.
All right. The next few questions, really briefly, before we talk about now Mambo Siasa.
There was a question here that talked about DJ Evil
Yes.
that I don't need to run away from.
Yes.
And I want to tell you, Mariam, and the person who asked it, that this issue has been a serious issue from before. Something happened. It was quite unfortunate. I took responsibility as a leader. People are saying that, you know, in a working state, Babu should be in jail. I agree. I should be in jail. I agree. But there are different types of justice. There's the retributive justice that says punish. That if you are the judge, during King Solomon's era, then you'd say, cut the baby into two. We would have lost the baby.
Yeah.
Then there's the restorative justice that tries to restore. to its original state. That is also a form of justice. So when I look at even some advocates, actually not an advocate, because an advocate ought to know better, like Miguna. He ought to know better the types of justice that we have. With this, I've been taking care of medical bills. Up to now, I've taken loans from banks, from my circle. I've spent close to around 70 million on DJ Evolve. The amount of money that we spend per month on DJ Evolve is close to around 500,000. DJ Evolve is talking. Miguna said he's not talking. He's talking the way we are talking. He's eating. He's healed. The only thing remaining for DJ Evolve is to go through the physiotherapy process so that he can walk. But he's normal. But you see, just like you and I, we've fallen short of the glory of the Almighty God. No man is righteous. No woman is righteous. We have our challenges. We have our skeletons. We have our weaknesses. And in those weaknesses that we have, we see the strength of God. That is the only way we can see God's strength. This was something that happened. It changed my life for the better. I used to drink. I used to take hard substance, drugs. I used to do anything capable of making anybody high. Okay? I stopped all this. From 2020 to date, I've never touched a glass of alcohol. That is 6 years down the line. This was meant to change me. It was a Saul Paul moment. It was also equally meant to change Felix, because in the Bible, it says that if something wrong happens to you and it takes life, then it is the work of the devil. But if something wrong happens to someone and it doesn't take life, then God is trying to make you move from that wrong path into a right path. So it was meant to change both of us. Felix also stopped consumption of alcohol. But the story, I want to come back here and tell you what happened. Felix did not annoy me. Felix did not do anything wrong to me. Felix just asked me about the item. That, is it fake or genuine? I just removed it to show. To show. And that is why he forgave me. Because there was nothing wrong that happened between me and Felix. And that is why he forgave me. Otherwise, if he knew that I was after his life, he would have never forgiven me, because he would have thought that probably Babu will still come for me. You see. So it is something that was very unfortunate of a leader, conduct and becoming of a leader. I took responsibility. I still take responsibility up to now.
Let me ask, in a state with functional healthcare where you weren't catering for DJ Evolve's medical bills, physiotherapy, everything that you've catered for up to now, do you think you would still have forgiven you, quote unquote?
In a state?
Where there's a working healthcare system that would have taken care of his bills all through, would he still have forgiven
Felix
you?
would have forgiven me.
My other question is he beholden to you because of your financial support?
No. Felix forgave me from day one. I called my mom. Felix called the parents. We sat. We talked. We narrated what happened. Our parents knew and saw that there was nothing between me and Felix. There was no bile. There was no challenge. There was no problem between me and Felix. Felix forgave me from day one. And Felix would have forgiven me still. It is not about the finances. Okay? It is not about the finances. It's about... Felix is a very good person, by the way. I didn't annoy him. He didn't annoy me. If you look at that clip again for DJ Evolve, you see that there is no fight before. There is nothing before. It's just something that was happening instantaneously. So it means that when it happened, it is Felix who told me, Babu, take me to hospital. It is Felix who told me. I carried Felix to hospital. I took him to one of the best hospitals. Nairobi Hospital charged me close to around 28 million Kenya shillings. I'm still paying that debt up to now. Peana sombili every month. Bado nailipa mpaka sahi. So whether there was proper medication or not, there was, the bottom line is, the foundation is, we were not fighting over anything. So which means there was no issue between me and him.
I mean, we need to take a break right now, and we'll be back with just 2 follow-up questions on this DJ Evolve matter before we cross over to Mambo Siasa, because I know the people want to hear exactly what is happening on the Linda Mwananchi camp and what are your plans for Nairobi County, given that you've hinted at and also just said that you're going to run for governor. Stick around. This is Fixing the Nation with myself, Elaris, Eric Latif, Mariam Bishar, and our guest, Babu Owino. Houses.
Yeah. Babu, should the government continue this affordable housing program?
I'm of a contrary opinion. Again, backed up by facts. Number one, housing is a private good in economics. Private goods are supposed to be left to private individuals to provide for themselves. I don't see anywhere in this country where a person is crying. There could be, but at least somebody is not saying that they lack somewhere to sleep. So which means housing is not one of the main challenges facing Kenyans. But lack of rent is. Therefore, if you create jobs so that people can pay rent, build their own houses, there is no problem. The role of the government is not to provide private goods, but to provide public goods. Public goods like clean environment, better environment, roads or infrastructure, and promote consumption of merit goods like health and education. If you do matters housing, you want to eradicate slums, as they are saying. Let me tell you something, Mariam. For example, you want to eradicate Kibera slums. People in the rural areas, having realized that there are houses being given in Kibera or in Soweto in my constituency, they will move from the village to town. This will lead to rural-urban migration. This will create a dual economy, a rural economy and an urban economy. The moment people move from rural areas, labor will be expensive, even in agricultural farms, because they are moving from rural to urban. The moment they reach urban, realizing that these houses are not there, they will set up other slums. They will settle there first. Then insecurity will be high. With insecurity, what will happen to our economic growth rate? Will go down automatically, because people will not do anything. So if you ask me, the government ought to have spent this money to work on infrastructure, work on an electric train. Hii wachana na SGR. Ile electric train yenye ukitoka Garissa unafika Nairobi in 1 hour. Ukitoka hapa Naivasha unafika Nairobi in 15 minutes. So therefore, people can still live in Naivasha and work in Nairobi and go back in the evening. A person can come from Kisumu, work in Nairobi, go back. So that money ought to have been used differently, not in this housing. So these are, and lastly, they are unaffordable. They are not affordable. To a common Mwananchi in Mukuru kwa Njenga or Madhari or Huruma, this person, you are telling them that a 2-bedroom house is approximately 2 million Kenya shillings. This person who is riding a boda, who is going from Jengo and getting 600 to 700 shillings per day, has never touched 20,000 ile nzima hivi at a go. You want to tell this person to pay 2 million Kenya shillings. Is it even practical? It is so desirable, but not practical. So whatever, this is infertile imagination.
Let me ask you, Babu, you want to be governor of Nairobi, right?
Yes, I will be the governor of Nairobi, Latif.
Okay. What percentage, in your estimation, of Nairobi residents sleep in slums?
Nairobi residents, approximately 80%.
80%?
Are in slummy areas.
80% of 5 million people.
80% of 5 million, that's approximately 4 million.
That's 4 million people
Yes. And
live
that
in a
is
slum. And a slum here, we are saying, a house where it's been raining,
Yes.
it's likely that it's leaking inside.
Yes.
They don't have a toilet.
Yes.
They don't have a bathroom.
Yes.
Right? They don't have amenities around them.
Yeah.
True? 4 million out of 5 million people in Nairobi live in slums. So how do you address that issue for them?
It's a main issue of concern, and generally, if I just want to talk about issues affecting Nairobians as a whole, then I also address that. Number one, the challenges that we face as Nairobians is the challenges of poor roads, okay, and drainage. When it rains for 30 minutes, we produce several rivers feeding Lake CBD, okay? River Ngong Road, River Langata Road, and others. We lose property in the course of that. People contract diseases from those floods. We lose lives from those floods, okay? A working Nairobi should plan itself. A working governor should ensure that drains are constructed, the drainage system. We need to make a provision of the storm water drains. Then direct these drains, work on the proper gradient towards the rivers. We have most areas that are flooding. We have the Ngong River areas, the Nairobi River areas, the Madare River areas. When you direct this water to these rivers, then work on a way by which these rivers can be deepened. Somebody was arguing that a river cannot be deepened. That is cheap thinking, and that is thinking in installments. Okay? Deepen the rivers. Widen the rivers so that it can accommodate the quantity of water flowing. Then channel this water. Work on the dams. Okay? So that you also don't waste this water. You shall have at least keyword solve a bigger part of this challenge. On the roads, there are so many poor roads. The state of roads are wanting. Okay? Work on the road network within Nairobi. If you go to Westlands, if you go to Lavington, if you go to Kileleshwa, Kilimani, roads are pathetic. What about the slums? Which means they're worse. Okay? So as a working governor, these roads should be worked on. Number 2, work on water. The consumption, Nairobians need approximately 1 billion liters of water per day. What is provided is around 670 million liters per day, which means we are falling short of approximately 330 million liters. What is the solution? First of all, what are the challenges that we experience? That's why water is rationed in Nairobi. Number 1, the cartels blocking the pipes so that water does not reach its intended destination. It means that there's poor leadership, poor governance. Number 2, the infrastructure put, the pipes laid down for water ran away from the colonial era. Why don't you put a budget to work on this? Because water is lost through leakages. They are leaking. And number 3, through contamination with the waste, the sewer. Then work on the dams. Because the water that we get in Nairobi comes from Kikuyu Spring. Another one comes from the Northern Water Tunnel Collector, the Ruiru Dam, and then the Thika Dam, then the Kaini Dam. Those are the sources of water that we have in Nairobi. We need 2 more dams. We need 2 more dams. And to get 2 more dams, you have to work with the national government as a county government so that at least this challenge of water is solved permanently. Number 3, issues health, our health facilities. We have so many health facilities, very beautiful, but there's a problem. Medics are not paid on time. Workers are not paid on time. So there's no motivation. There's a lot of negligence. We lose people through negligence because people are not motivated, the medics. Work on that. Work on drugs in these hospitals. Do not set up Mama Lucy and then your staff as a Nairobi County are opening a chemist outside Mama Lucy Hotel or Mama Lucy Hospital or Mbagathi Hospital or are transacting, stealing these drugs and selling them. Work on proper equipment, ICU facilities. They must be there as a working governor. You talked about 80% staying in slum areas. So 4 million people. We don't have proper sewer lines. The sewer system, we need to work on it so that any connection, because sewers run along the rivers. The sewers that we have, there are so many challenges because of the growing population. The population is growing, but the facilities are just the same. So it means that they are overworked. Work on proper sewer line. Then work on serious modern toilets within these slum areas. Okay? Then connect them to the sewer lines. You shall have solved this challenge, Latif.
You know, Just be realistic, Babu.
I'm realistic.
So-
That's why I'm
so-
talking about these things.
Go into Mukuru and
Yes.
tell me how you're going to put up a sewer line in Mukuru.
But you see, sewer lines run along the rivers.
Okay.
There's a river passing along that area.
Okay.
Okay.
So come from a shack in Mukuru,
Yes.
a mud walled house in Mukuru, connect that to the sewer.
With no
I'm
running
not saying you
water.
put a toilet in a house. You can work on modern toilets.
So you don't need to work on
Okay.
the house. So it's okay.
Let me tell you.
It's okay.
Let me tell you.
For 4 million Nairobians to live in mud walled houses
Or Mabati.
or mabati houses, no cement floor, no toilet. So they can be going to use one toilet there, common area toilets. That's okay for you as a governor of Nairobi.
Let me tell you, Latif. I know you may be supporting the housing project, but
No, I'm just following the logic here.
But is the government capable of building 4 million houses for those people in the slummy areas? No. So that is also not practical.
Yes,
okay?
it's not.
So therefore, let us come back home. The most important thing for these people, if you don't want them to have muddy houses or mabati houses, some of them have plots there, then provide jobs for these people. They will cement their houses. Provide jobs for these people. They can build their houses. But when it comes to the issue about sanitation of the area, okay, there are public utilities. There are places where there are existing toilets as we speak. Then make sure that you give these people a decent, respectful way of life. How do you do it as a governor? There are so many toilets constructed here in CBD, correct? By the county government. That can be replicated in the slummy areas, okay? And ensuring that people are employed to take care of those toilets so that sanitation is optimal.
I want to move to
Because
Siasa.
if you tell me that I cement houses for people, I build houses for people, the resources that is there is limited. It might not handle that.
All right. I wanted to move on to Siasa and Linda Mwananchi Siasa specifically. The real question is how much for Linda Mwananchi? What would it take to co-opt Linda Mwananchi?
To do
If I
what?
was President William Ruto, I'm just looking at you guys, wondering, what would it take to get these guys to switch? Whether it's in the middle of the year, closer to the election, at the beginning, who knows? But at some point, I need these chaps to come into the fold. So what would it take?
You know, when Judas betrayed Jesus, he returned the money and hung himself because he realized that he did a mistake. There are some people who can't be bought. You can't buy principles. Okay? There are those who can't be bought. But there are those whom you can't buy. But the best way to work with Ruto is for him to support our presidential candidate in 2027 so that he doesn't contest but supports our presidential candidate. There's no problem with that because we will teach him how to work.
Who is
Okay,
that
another
going to be?
issue about we will sit down and we will decide on that because we have very capable men and women who can do it. Okay.
Just before you move on to your next point, we did see Rigathi come out and mention your names, Sifuna, Babu. So he's hinted at the possibility of the alternative government working with Linda Mwananchi. Is that in the works? Is that something we can expect? Ama Linda Mwananchi ni Linda Mwananchi without being part of the alternative government?
We do understand that elections in Kenya are won through coalitions and like-minded individuals. They are like-minded individuals. We don't have a problem when we come together, so long as it is for the best interest of Mwananchi, not personal interest. About Nairobi, I didn't finish. Talking about jobs in Nairobi, creation of jobs in Nairobi for our youth, because these youth are being used by the government as goons. We need to create jobs for these youth through construction of roads. You are creating jobs there to the engineers, to watu wa mkono. Through construction of other health facilities, you will be creating jobs. The county government of Nairobi is employing approximately around 18,000 people. There are those who are retiring. There are those who are incompetent. I'm not saying that people will lose their jobs, but the likes of Gaucho will automatically lose their jobs because How do you expect a doctor who's sat in class for 7 years to be directed by Gaucho who thinks in installments? So we cannot do that, because even him,
No, but
he will have
boards-
a muscle
the
pull
boards
of the
provide
brain. He
an
will have a muscle
oversight.
pull of the brain when he's seated with the doctors there. So we want to
Boards
save him.
provide oversight, and there is
somebody like
a
Gaucho,
provision
Gaucho.
for people who are actively involved in the community to also be part of the boards of healthcare facilities
Somebody
in
like,
those
we
communities.
don't want to joke with our health facilities, with the health of the people. A sick nation cannot go to job, cannot go to a job. A sick child cannot go to school. So we must be serious. A person who does not know what chloroquine treats, how do you put that person there? Even a member of the community must be knowledgeable. Gaucho angewekwa kazi ya control traffic hapa town, Kenyans would have appreciated. But we will not joke in our government. We are not looking down on anybody, Latif, but we want to give a person. You've read the book called The Republic by Plato. Give a job to a person who qualifies for that job. So that if the person qualifies to sweep, give that person that job.
Yeah.
Use
If
a tool
person
for its purpose.
Correct. So, qualification. And everybody qualifies at whichever level. You
So
cannot
merit.
take Babu Owino with all his degrees, aende aweke a connect steamer. Utapata amehang hapo because ana knowledge juu ya electricity. Sini kweli? Ama kuweka tiles because ajui kuweka hizo tiles, hana hiyo skills. Sini kweli? So let everybody be given a job that they deserve. That is when we will get maximum output. Okay? So in Nairobi again, what we will do is help this school feeding program. I had some people saying that is Babu planning to remove it. I'm not planning to remove it. It will be there, but parents will not pay the 5 shillings.
Okay.
Right now, parents are paying 5 shillings. Approximately 100, they collect approximately 190 million per year from that 5 shillings. We don't know where it goes to. The French government is funding that school feeding program. National government is funding. County government is funding. Parents are funding. So which means money is lost. So much money is lost through that school feeding program. So what we will do about the school feeding program, we are going to devolve it back to schools. Every school has a kitchen. They can cook. The idea of constructing you are constructing around 15 kitchens, one at a cost of 57 million. That is enough to construct a school. We don't need to do those 15 kitchens only. They can still exist, but we want to devolve it back to schools for efficiency, so that in those schools, parents, the community, when they come in groups, those who are selling these foodstuffs and must be checked to check on the health matters, they can do supplies to these schools so that they can at least grow. Those are ways of creating jobs for people.
What's your answer for feeding the children in informal schools? Because a majority of learners in Nairobi especially don't go to public schools. They go to informal schools.
You know, the intention in leadership is to bake a bigger cake. A bigger cake that Latif can eat, that Fidelis can eat, that Mariam can eat.
Felaris.
the name is unique and
Tutajua
beautiful.
zote.
And beautiful. Felaris can eat. A bigger cake that even thieves can eat. You know, when the cake is big and you have yours, even when thieves eat, I'm not promoting thievery, okay, or theft of public resources. But I'm saying the moment you bake a bigger cake for everybody. So the intention is to do proper collection. When you have enough revenue, then you can also even provide for the informal.
I want to paint a scenario of 2027, Babu goes and wins and becomes Nairobi governor. And then President Ruto makes his way back and he's serving his second term. So there was a cooperation agreement that was signed between Nairobi County and the national government. How does that unfold with you as governor?
First of all, that cooperation agreement is illegal because it didn't follow the required process, the procedure. You need to do public participation first. You don't sign and do public participation later. That is an illegality. So first of all, it has to go. Okay? And then I don't imagine him coming back, but should he come back, that is tomorrow's problem. We will handle it tomorrow. But that cooperation agreement must go. Because if Governor Sakaja says that I can't work, please come and help me, he invites the national government, he's simply telling you that he's incompetent, that siwezi kuja unisaidie. Babu anaweza. So that is the bottom line. Babu anaweza kufanya kazi. So awachie watu wenye wanaweza kufanya kazi, wafanye kazi.
You know, Senator Sakaja told us that when he was campaigning to be governor. And he said this NMS thing, it's useless, it's horrible, it should go. Right?
Yeah.
And he came in and said, that NMS story, forget about it. I am running this city.
Yeah.
Now, we can see what he's have. And he has actually gone and picked a part of the law which allows for such a cooperation agreement to be signed.
Yeah.
Procedure notwithstanding. It's there in law. Now, you are saying that thing will go. But you're leaving a window open there. We shall deal with that issue at that point.
No. Latif, I want you to get it clearly. I'm saying clearly. But again, what do you expect from a person who graduated in a cyber cafe? What do you expect? Let us talk of competence, Latif. Competence. So, Governor Sakaja gave you enough smoke screens to know that nothing is going to be done here. Babu Owino has also showed you that in Embakasi East, to whom much is given, much is expected. But again, if we can manage Embakasi East, some people say that, you know, Babu may be worse than this or that. Babu is already working in Embakasi East constituency, ranked the best member of parliament in Kenya. If I can deliver in Embakasi East constituency, why not deliver Nairobi? Why not deliver and give services? The law allows that in the event that the governor wants help, cannot work, surrenders. In the event that the government says that he's given up, the national government should come in. Babu Owino cannot give up. Babu Owino is going to deliver.
Do you think there's enough scenarios? I mean, we've seen it during Governor Sonko's time and Sakaja's time, where maybe, just maybe, and this is hypothetical, where the national government then would make it a little bit hard for Nairobi governor to execute his full mandate, and therefore would need to go knocking on the national government's door just because either the system is flawed, frustrated, or you're just not able to execute your mandate as you would be.
Let me tell you, Nairobi has its own source revenue. According to the latest World Bank report, 2025, it shows that Nairobi should be run on an own source revenue of 67 billion Kenya shillings. You add with the national government funding, okay, that the president does not determine whether it should come out or not. Okay, it just comes out because you cannot discriminate on one county. That should be around 20 billion approximately. A total, Nairobi should be run with a total of 87.5 billion Kenya shillings. We are running Nairobi with a total of 43 billion Kenya shillings. Do you know something funny is that the on-source revenue, that money, it's hosted at Interior. It's collected by the Interior. You see? Because Sakaja is grabbed, is under siege. Why? Because the moment he speaks, his degree is brought up, his impeachment issue is brought up. Okay? And again, he allows. Himself, he allows. Because every time he boasts, we are in a group, one group called the Watering Hole, he said, the highest collection ever, 12 billion. Imagine we have a budget of 43 billion that we never implement fully, and the governor, in his wisdom or lack of the same, says he collects only 12, plus another 20 of national government, so that is 32 billion. So we fall short of 11 billion. So we are not offering Nairobians a service of 11 billion Kenya shillings. Workers are not paid on time. These workers, they're really struggling. Rent, somebody, you are going to be hamishwad from the house, you've not paid rent for the past 6 months. And the governor is just comfortable, saying that Nairobi is working. Yes, Nairobi is working at not working. You see? So, we need to punch above our weight. The moment there are resources, you don't even need the national government.
You can sustain.
Yes.
We're going to conclude this conversation shortly, Babu. 2 questions. One, in what party are you going for Nairobi governor?
I want to tell you that Azimio, not Azimio, but Linda Mwananchi, Azimio was in 2022, Linda Mwananchi, we are working on something that should propel us, because party is just a vehicle. As I always say, that people will only elect a candidate in a party if those candidates are not, if the track record is not known so much.
Okay.
We saw Professor Kivutha Kibwana left Muungano party and went to Wiper. He was still elected. Initially was elected at Muungano. We saw governors elected as independent candidates. I'm not going to vie as an independent candidate. But Babu Owino said very well that baada ya baba ni babu. It means that my boss, and by the way, the last boss I had was Raila Amolo Odinga. The next thing is to be the boss. And the boss who is going to serve people. The boss who is going to be a servant.
So you leave ODM
I can tell you
for
clearly,
the new outfit.
But ODM does not exist. The ODM that I knew is not, hii saizi ni ndimu, hii ni lemon, because there's a problem. Saizi si ODM, saizi tuko na lemon, si orange anymore. So I can
The Lemon
clearly,
Democratic Movement.
now saizi ni LDM. So I can clearly tell you that as Babu Owino, we are working.
So
And
there'll be a
solution is
new
going to
political
come.
party, a new outfit.
That I can assure you 100%.
Okay.
Definitely.
Okay.
Should there be a lot of pressure from the public that you and Sifuna abandon your Nairobi and go for national seat? Will you say yes?
You know, when Mwananchi speaks, the voice of the people is the voice of God. As of today, I'm so focused on Nairobi. Then in 2032, Zoya rais wako mapema. So whoever we are going to choose as Linda Mwananchi, we want that person to serve for 1 term.
Okay.
Then awachie Babu apige 2 terms. Unaelewa? Because tunataka to deliver for Nairobians.
So, so Linda Mwananchi is insisting on having a candidate on the ballot.
Yes, we are insisting on that, and we are working on that, and we will also work with the like-minded individuals from other parties, other coalitions.
Okay.
Yes.
All right.
Wait. You're at Church Road in 30 seconds. Church Road, watu wameuliza, and they've said it's a lake basically. Watu wa Embakasi, they cannot.
This Church Road is a county government road, but I want to help Governor Sakaja. I want to do it in the next 1 month. Kazi itaanza hapo, I assure you.
Okay.
See, and by the way, hold me to account for that. But it is a county government road, but let me help my brother.
Okay.
You know, he needs help a lot.
That is MP for Embakasi East. Mmesikia watu wa Embakasi East, Church Road ndio hiyo. Babu Owino, and he also sits on the Budget and Public Investments Committee. Thank you so much for spending the hour and a half with us. And we'll hopefully hold you to account and keep having these conversations. In the next hour, we speak to Cleophas Malala, former senator for Kakamega County, also deputy leader at DCP. Tunaongea sahi. Hashtag is fixing the nation. We'll be right back.